pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Welcome everybody. Marion County Commission meeting, December 15th, 2025, 30 p.m. Start off with public forum. Is anybody in the public wishing to say anything? Keep it 3 minutes. Anybody online?
I'd like to talk.
Okay. Yes, I figured you would come take off your chair here.
Okay.
State your name for the people online if there isn't.
Okay. Greg Wyatt. And I'm just going to keep it brief, and the things that I'm going to talk or mention real quick, if any or all of them, there's something that we could put on an agenda, I'll be more than happy to come back and discuss in further details. The first thing, just real quickly, and you guys know what my stance is as far as the roadways out there at the county lake, but I was hoping maybe you could at least consider chip and sealing Ridgeway Road, which is the one of the main roads on the southeast side of the county lake there that ties into Lakeshore Drive. It's the last of the incline roads that we have there that always washes out and all the rock goes across Lakeshore and into the lake. And it ties in Rock Road, Hillcrest, and Echo Lane to all the people that reside back in that area. So that's one thing that when the county comes out to do Lakeshore next spring, if they could maybe do something at least on the incline portion of that, that would be great. The second thing, improvement district, we've been talking to Isaac about, we'd kind of like to get a dog leash law resolution set up out there, both for the inside part of the lake as well as the improvement district. The problem right now that we have is for enforcement things. And I guess what I'm asking is if you guys would work with allowing Isaac and Adam to be able to complete a certification to be able to write citations or tickets for violations out there at the lake. Not only would that help with the dog resolution, but it would also help them have some type of power or enforcement over underage driving of golf carts and ATVs and UTVs that are out there. Boating situations or other lake issues that come up that, you know, right now all they can do is warn people, but that only goes so far. There needs to be some type of enforcement, and if they would be certified to give out tickets, that would be helpful out there. The last thing that I want to mention here today, Improvement District, I guess, would like to ask the county to kind of cease any other new Airbnbs coming out to the county lake at this time for a couple different reasons. First of all, has to do with our sewer system that's out there. County lake sewer system is right now over capacity as far as what it was designed for. In 1986, it was designed for 60 permanent houses with a 20-year outlook to be around 90 by the early 2000s. Right now out there at the county lake, we have 167 permanent residents. We have 60 seasonal houses out there, and we have 65 connections to the lake office, lake hall, and the trailer park areas. So we have 292 connections out there, which is more than triple of what it was designed to hold. So the problems that we're running into right now, and we're kind of putting a Band-Aid on things at the moment with, we secured a grant that we're replacing the check valves for each resident that's out there right now. We're doing 227 check valves here at the moment. We are looking to try to get another grant to change the infrastructure as far as the sewer system itself by putting in lift stations and changing out and putting in a new main line. We haven't got that grant yet, but even if we got the grant, say this next year, it would take us up to probably at least 3 years or more to get that all put into place. And as of right now, like I said, we are well over capacity. Each lot that's out there at the county lake is a single-family dwelling lot, not multifamily lots. With the Airbnbs that are out there already, that's doubling or tripling what a single family is in a lot of those cases out there right now. And from the news article that was out in the paper here with planning and zoning, stating that they could not properly regulate Airbnbs out there. If they can't regulate them, then why have them? You gotta have some type of enforcement out there. I know the limit is supposed to be 8 out there, but I guess to us, as far as an improvement district, we look at a single family as 2 parents and maybe up to 2 to 4 kids. So you're looking at 4 to 6 at best, as far as when you're talking your Airbnbs. The sewer system we have is a pressurized system. Okay, everybody has grinder pumps and check valves that feed off of each household. It's not a gravity flow system that is out there. So with the amount of sewage that's going through there, some of the lines, particularly on the east side of the line, are only 1.5 to 2 inches where they need to be bigger as far as for the capacity load of the number of houses that are out there. They need to be 3 or 4 inch lines. So those are going to be problems. So if we continue putting more Airbnbs out there and allowing more people to use the sewers out there, we run the risk of stressing the lines or the joints, the connections. And if we have a break out there, obviously that sewage is going to run into the lake. And then we're looking at, hundreds of thousands of dollars in cleanup as far as the county is concerned in fixing that environmental hazard to improve that once again. We're having an issue right now on permits for garages. There's some garages out there right now that are putting living quarters above their unattached garages or outback buildings. And then they're putting sewer in there, but they're putting it in by connecting it into their household line, which basically is illegal. I mean, you can't, with being single family dwellings, you can't have 2 living quarters on the same lot. We've already dealt with a few of those and we've disconnected some, but there's many more out there. And I've even put into emails to planning and zoning asking for all permits that have been okayed by them for sewer to be put in their garages. Because more and more people are doing that. Some of them are doing it without permits, particularly with the living quarters and things above. My suggestion is that some that we have disconnected, I think county appraisal probably needs to go back out and reappraise some of those places that have living quarters that aren't supposed to be there. And maybe if they were taxed a little bit higher on it because of what they have, maybe that would shut a few people down there as well as far as attempting that. The problem is if one gets away with it and then neighbors start talking, then others are going to do it and then others are going to do it. For 2 years now, since I've been on the board, we've been trying to tell everybody that we can't have or hold any more new builds or put in more sewer lines for the simple fact that we are over capacity. And that's the problem we're running into. So when I look in the articles and everybody's talking about driving issue, parking problems at Airbnbs, that's minimal compared to what can happen with a sewer line breakage and causing an environmental hazard. So I guess what I'm looking at is.
If you need an agenda item, we can revisit it, but is that your last topic?
That's my last topic. It's just a case that I would just like to cease.
Important.
To cease that situation. And like I said, I would be more than happy to come and discuss any or all of these if you guys would just put me on the agenda. So Anything else? If not, then thank you for your time.
Thanks for bringing it up to our attention. Anybody else online or in the room? All right, close the public comment portion. Move on to the agenda approval. Anything else we need to add to the agenda?
There you go. Will Bridge need on the agenda?
No, there's just, I can address any questions if you have them.
All right, we're gonna move forward with the agenda as is. Administrative business.
Okay. Let's do the minutes of December 8.
Everybody got a chance to read the minutes? Are there any corrections?
Make a motion to approve the minutes of December 8th as presented.
Motion
I'll second it.
and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have early checks in the amount of $22,651.56.
Any questions with any of the warrants?
I do, and that's probably why you're here.
Probably.
So it looks like we cut another bright speed line on Falcon. And accidents happen now. The other one, it says the original claim to be reimbursed. Did we get that squared away? We're gonna get that money back?
Yes, so Doug and Kathy and Steve have been working on it. We got some contact information and we should be receiving a reimbursement, so.
Okay, so that's the two on this map.
Yep.
That's what I thought. Just wanted to clarify that.
With all the internet companies that are working around anymore, are they reporting to Road and Bridge where they're burying and how deep and all that? Because that's the second one now.
Yeah, we've been approached by two different other companies other than Brightspeed. And they do have to apply for a right-of-way permit to install any additional new lineage or to bore under our road to provide additional hookups to individual residences. So we are aware of that. This, however, was a claim against damage to an existing line, not installing new.
So we do that when we're cleaning a ditch?
Primarily, if you'll notice by that lovely map there,
Like you're working on a culvert?
we're working on culverts, yeah. The one that actually covers right above the North Cottonwood on the Falcon Road, that was a very large culvert. I think that was a box culvert. But typically it's when we have to cross or get into the ground quite heavily. We do call out an 811 on any time we bring a shovel out. And this is why we do it, to try to protect ourselves. And because of the documentation, we were able to go back and actually show that we were not responsible for that first claim. So this has been a really good learning experience on all sides, because we found out Brightspeed doesn't invoice us for damages. They wait a year or so before their collection agency comes in and says, you owe us for these damages. And so they make it a very large emergency feel, you know, the urgent aspect of being called to a collection. And the location, it was close enough that we didn't have full documentation because the collection agency had the wrong email and was sending information to an improper email address. So we didn't have that information, and we find out now it's actually been good. You can be kind of satisfied that we did get our money back. We're actually netting about $650 to the good, because we should get that original claim back. So we've learned a lot through the process, put some things in places, and we've got the collection agency, we kind of know how they operate now. So we feel like it's a very good outcome.
It would concern me some if a company like who you're talking about doesn't bill us and they turn it to a collection agency, because that can affect our bonding rating. And so we need to communicate with people like that. If there's some kind of claim, send us a bill. Because once it goes to collection, that's gonna affect our bond rating.
Okay.
It does, you and I personally, it's done with the collection agency, it impacts your
It's the
credit.
same way with the individual, it goes to the credit, it goes on your credit report. And it's hard to get rid of those.
Okay, I will check into that.
You need to pay it off, still, not work.
What is the county's credit rating if it's any of my business?
That I do not know.
Sorry, I don't know.
When we got the bond, I don't know what it is, but I know it was good. Because when we got the bond for all the road work, it was, we were high up there. So,
If I may, while he's here, I was gonna bring it up in commission comments, but I'd like to address it now. I was contacted by Harvey County, one of their commissioners wanting to talk to me about the sinkhole, which is on the county line.
so can we go ahead and move forward with a motion to approve early checks?
Yep.
Moved,
Second.
seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that one's off the tip, go ahead.
But it's a county road that's, and I'm not sure exactly which road it is, but it's right on the Harvey County, Marion County line, and there's a sinkhole and people are driving around it. And I know that was discussed earlier this year at one
One
point.
half of the road is ours, the other half is Harvey County Township.
Yeah,
So they don't quite have the funds to.
well, anyway, they're looking for options, and I just didn't know if you were aware of that, Doug.
I was not.
Maybe, I'm gonna go down and take a look at it this week and get with her. You know, the one option is to close the road. I think there's one resident there that's kind of adamant against that, but people are actually driving around off the road into the adjoining private land on either side of this sinkhole, so I don't know.
It's been an ongoing issue now for how long?
It's been,
2
Quite
years.
a while, 2
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, cause the sinkhole was,
Sinkhole
was on their side of the road. And so now it's slowly encroached onto our side.
We got cross streets to know roughly where that is.
I don't, I'd have to just go down there and look at it, but it's right on the Harvey County line, I think it's just south of Highway 50, about maybe 2 miles.
Okay.
But it's that.
Alright.
That's a ballpark figure, but I'm gonna go down and take a look at it this week. I'm wondering if we can't just maybe get one of these trestle bridges from that railroad yard and put abutments in on, cause there's no way you can fill a sinkhole in. I mean, it's just gonna continue, but if we could build a bridge over it with a rail car, I don't know if that's an option or not, but anyway, just,
See if the Harvey County would contribute anything to it.
that's, I'm thinking between the two counties, if we could, but anyway, just wanted to get that, put that on your radar.
Can I ask who you were talking to at Harvey County?
Becky Reimer, she's the commissioner from Harvey
Thank you.
County. And then since you're here, I will give you this.
Okay.
It's just some information on equipment and materials and stuff that I picked up at the KAC this week.
Thank you. Yeah.
A different bridge company that does kind of prefab
Emergency bridges.
emergency bridges, but
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They'll drop them, and you're down about a week until you can get a solution. But yeah, I saw that too. I've got the same material, so I'll remember to throw mine away.
that's all I had for you, Doug. Was just to bounce that off of you, and I'll get with her and look at it, and we'll discuss it further later, but I just wanted to get it on your radar, so.
Sounds great.
Thank you. Both log jams pretty well taken care of.
I'm wondering if anybody's gonna ask. The, actually, this map is still apropos for the one log jam. Just south of the Cottonwood Grove Christian School is the 290th, we refer to it as 290th and Goldenrod. The tree limbs are basically taken out. There's still a few scraps we're not able to reach. We're very concerned or very cautious about getting into the stream bed, obviously. But we've got that cleaned out. The Emergency Watershed Protection group that we're working with has, they're working on engineering right now for string bank stabilization. And they have actually allowed us to, or they had recommended that we make a clean out pad, if you will, on the south side that will help us access that
In the future.
for future flooding events. But it will be built in as a feature and they're approving it. So I'm very happy with the way that's coming. The debris on 230th and Turkey Creek, it is, as far as we can reach, it's predominantly gone. If we do have a reasonable amount of rain that raises the creek level a little bit, if it does push it back, push it closer to the bridge, we should be able to access that and clean it out. And you also, I don't know if you got the notification, but we've already applied for a approximately $12,000 reimbursement from EWP for the work done thus far. So we should be seeing a reimbursement check for that.
A lot of work just to get to that pile out there on Goldenrod. A lot of dirt moved. A lot of dirt hauled back in.
A lot.
I know Matt was gonna check on whether we could get reimbursement, even though it wasn't approved before we started,
Yes.
I believe, so.
Because of the government
visited with him
shutdown,
A little bit.
yeah, because of the government shutdown, they came back and did
Let
a,
us support some. He was gonna check on it, not that that did anything. If that answers what I asked him to check on.
AEC, we're for the next session that we're going to be monitoring navigable waterways. There's something in the works that if it's a dry riverbed for so much of the year,
yes,
it won't be counted as like what we think of as a navigable waterway now. So we can go get by with more simple infrastructure. Apparently other counties are having the same fight, and something to keep your eye on.
yeah, primarily for permitting and trying to involve any federal agencies for permitting processes that will ease that process.
But it'll also allow you to use the rail cars in some places.
Oh, okay.
So it's pretty well dry. It just needs to let the water through from time to time.
We have a few of those.
Yeah. So anyway.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming
Thank you.
Okay, next we have some scheduled budgeted transfers. The first one is from bait shop to park for $5,000, and this was our last one.
We'll make them.
Make a motion to do the budgeted transfer from the bait shop to park, 5,000.
You got a motion?
I'll second it.
Got a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0.
The next one is road and bridge to special equipment for $166,666.66.
It's that way every year.
That's scary. I know, a lot of sixes.
Just for planning special equipment this year,
Yes.
I make a motion to approve that transfer.
A motion
I'll second it.
and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have noxious weed to noxious weed capital outlay for $10,000.
make a motion to transfer noxious weed to noxious weed capital outlay, 10,000, budgeted transfer.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
And the last one is Road and Bridge 7 mil to capital improvement fund for $120,749.34.
I'll make a motion to move $120,749.34 from road main and improvement to capital improvement fund.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And that is all I have.
Could we go back to the treasurer's report?
Yeah.
Few details on our investments. As of January 1, the state treasurer is going to investment pooling. Instead of banks pledging individual securities to cover the bank balance, they'll be pooled. Each individual bank will have a pool. And the state will do the record keeping on them. Our county should get letters from each one of the banks that we have investments with. Notification that it's gonna be going to pooling it's starting on January 1. I think they're gonna try to get it finished by the end of February. It's probably a good thing, but it may change. It might make it easier actually for the county treasurer, because there'll be a pool of investments that will cover it rather than each individual security. So I'm sure Tina knows about it, but she should get a letter from each one of the banks that we have invested with. And if she doesn't, she probably should contact them.
Okay.
And my other comment would be is looking through our CDs. It appears that the municipal investment pool, we keep quite a bit of money in that. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't, and there may be a reason why Tina keeps that high amount in there, but we probably can get better rate from a county institution, because all they're required to do is pay the 90-day treasury bill rate, but which is quite a bit higher than what she shows right there. But like I said, she may have a reason why she likes to keep that much there.
Okay.
But I think we might be able to do better on rate in county.
Is that something she needs to come in and explain to us?
Well, maybe the next time that, she's sending us a monthly one, isn't it? Maybe next month she could come in, go over it. Maybe bother you about it.
A little bit busy this week.
Yeah, I know it's tax time, so it might be easier sometime next month to come in. That's all I have.
So, outside board reports, I mean, several of us were at KAC. I don't know if there's anything,
You want to do that now or under commission comments?
we can do that under commission comments too. It's not really a lot, but just if there's anything in particular that got picked up that was worth noting. Well, you just did. You noted one of them.
No, there was some good breakout sessions and our chairman led one. I'll let him comment on that one. Scott Lloyd again did a seminar on, county liquidity under the, revenue neutral culture that we're kind of living in right now, and the effects that it's having on counties. Basically, living in a revenue neutral environment, your general fund balances are going down, and ours have been too. There's a few horror stories already from counties that are just living on a shoestring right now. And, I think that we're right in trying to keep taxes down for our taxpayers. But it's gonna require a lot of diligence to, keep our budgets where it's at. There's some counties that are already looking at cutting services. We don't wanna have to get to that point. Of course, Scott, he has hammered us for years to maintain 3 to 6 months operating in the general fund. And, I think our treasurer and clerk's office have done a good job of keeping us informed about where we're at. I especially appreciate the treasurer's reports. So, anyway.
Are we gonna talk about the 56 expansion or?
Yeah.
I'm technically on the advisory committee that was established for that, and if you want me, I can talk about what happened last Wednesday night. We had an open house and here in Marion, and they had several proposals on the table. And one of them, and this was done by their safety personnel, because there's been a fatality accident apparently at some time at Industrial and Highway 56 here in Marion County, right outside of, just north of John Deere, just right outside our EMS station. They felt that it would be a good proposal to shut that intersection down.
It's been years ago. I don't remember.
Well, in my talking to them, they said, well, because there's been a fatality accident there, the safest thing we can do is shut that down. And I said, that is, closing that intersection is the worst thing you can do for Marion County. I said, you're gonna get, that's our primary access for our EMS station. I said, that's not gonna work. In Hillsborough, they actually had three of the 5 access points off of Highway 56 into Hillsborough slated for closure: Orchard, Adams, and Santa Fe. And, you know, I said, you know, Santa Fe, you've got 4 major industrial businesses there. I said, there's 80 to 100 semis come in and out of that road every day. You can't direct that traffic through Hillsborough. So anyway, I think they got my point that those 4 planned or proposed road closures were not in the best interest of Marion County or Hillsborough, so.
So will they not even listen at reduced speeds?
I brought that up. I said, you know, the simplest way to fix this is reduce the speed to 55 miles an hour in Hillsborough and Marion. And I've mentioned that at every meeting we've had from the start. That's been my one comment, is to reduce those speeds. And for some reason, I've heard in Hillsborough it's because, well, they do it in Canton because there's businesses on both sides of the street. Well, there's business on both sides of the street in Marion. There's not in Hillsborough, but you know, to me, why can't we just reduce the speed limit? It's, well, we can reduce the speed limit, but nobody will pay attention. They'll speed anyway. Well,
They do a peep.
Then the cities are gonna have a lot more revenue
the
and
cities
tickets.
are gonna have a lot of fun. You know, they reduced the speed in Peabody on Highway 50. They reduced the speed in Walton on Highway 50. There's nothing on the highway at Peabody. I mean, that is a dangerous intersection, and they reduced the speed limit, and I think it's made it a lot safer. And people generally slow down for that.
Yeah, especially when they put up that,
That flashing,
automated
that automatic
flasher.
sign, yeah.
People see that.
But, so, anyway, I expressed my displeasure as both a citizen and as a commissioner. And said that they needed to look at alternatives to those closures, so hopefully that message got conveyed to KDOT, but.
I was trying to pull it up so you could go through all the graphics, but haven't been able to get there.
Yeah,
I voiced that concern when I opened a cafe to do something and it went nowhere. There was a fatality accident a year before that right there on that intersection as well. I was just shocked when they put the asphalt plan out there that I got them to put truck centering and signs up. But the construction company put that on, not KDOT.
Here we go. Getting there. Getting there in a second. Should be sending your email the link. Now you scroll down, it should go into the roles. So, yeah, the Hillsborough one, Marion one. But just,
all of these open.
yeah, well, just some of them.
You want to do this one?
maybe the Hillsborough urban. Configuration is
Are these ones too? Let me go back and share one moment. This one.
Showing the different areas.
So that's the old, in that top left corner, or top right corner, that's old Highway 56. That kind of diagonal that comes off of 56 and comes into the old highway that comes into Hillsborough. They're talking about shutting that down and then paving, actually, the county line road from 56 south
Goldenrod.
to Goldenrod.
Goldenrod straight up to the highway.
Straight up to the highway, so that, my only question with that is, does that then become county responsibility or is that maintained by KDOT?
Probably turn back over to the landowner, cause I think the
Well, I mean,
landowner owns the same on both sides of that.
right, but I mean, the paving Goldenrod,
Oh, yeah.
do we then take maintenance of that? At the bottom, I can't see from there. That's K-15 and Bison, Holly,
If you open up the
that's, it'd be the next one.
Hillsborough, is that Marion? Nope, it's around the reservoir.
That's Hillsborough with a
Here's your
3.
two options. There's option 2 is the only viable option to me.
Here is where they're talking about, shutting down Adams, putting a turnaround there, shutting down Santa Fe, and shutting down Orchard and putting a turnaround. That would focus all the access to Hillsborough would be through North Ash and by the hospital.
Coming down Jade.
What's that?
And then coming down Jade and then having to come back around.
Yeah,
And plus the semis over there.
yeah.
Semis trying to navigate around to either side. It'd be impossible. That little connector that runs from Jade over to Santa Fe is not built for.
It's not built for that type of
Every
truck.
time you turn the corner, you tear up the pavement too.
We'd have trucks trying to pass each other, both being laid over in the ditch.
Yep.
That's coming off of McPherson there. They're wanting to change that onto First Street.
That's still McPherson.
That seems like a very expensive alternative right there. That would really upset that landowner because then it's splitting his
Yeah.
farm operation in half and he's got, I mean, that, I didn't comment on that because it's not Marion County, but it just doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense to me, but.
Like I said, until they start talking about doing like what they did from Hutch to McPherson, a lot of this doesn't make a lot of sense.
What, at
That is-
61?
That is McPherson County, so I guess they can take the charge on that.
Yeah, I tried to focus on what they were doing
Yeah.
in Marion County and their other option, I mean, they proposed a turn lane between Hillsborough and Marion there all along the reservoir, which is a good thing, and then
Yeah, there needs to be something done there.
Improvements to a lot of the,
Summertime.
That Pawnee turn is terrible down there.
Yeah.
I mean, you come from either way, you got semis barreling down on you.
We got the Marion one too. So this is option 1 and 2 for Hillsborough. But
right,
option 2 is about, like I said, the in my mind, option 2 is the only viable
Yeah.
option.
And
On top of that, we're already getting KDOT money to make more turning lanes, and they would just go ahead and cancel them out. I mean, it'd be throwing taxpayer dollars and then all of a sudden just rip it out. But Marion, because that's where your photo was on, if we can find that one. Might be another one link that didn't open.
that's it right there.
Okay.
Is it this one?
It's just here, there, this is the access, this is the EMS building, is right here, that's, it's this highlight here, but they're showing to close that access to the EMS station. It would close access to the Ace Hardware. And you would have to come in off Timber and go around all those other, the old Pizza Hut, and jog around to get in. And I know Ace Hardware wouldn't appreciate that when they're trying to get semi-loads of product in and out of their store. And
Or the EMS, when you look to the right, look to the left, you see congestion over on the right, you're gonna go left, you're gonna get out on the highway as quick as you can. Yeah, those are the contentious points, but the online commenting goes on till 24th.
so, yeah.
So, I mean, the more people that can actually chime in.
And I've talked with a couple of those businesses over there in Hillsborough since that Wednesday meeting, and they're planning on commenting, and because that would, I mean, that's a significant impact to their business and to the county as far as the revenue that those.
And then, top of that, about the only place really accessible place for semis to fuel up is right there by Sonic. So,
Those city streets aren't designed for heavy traffic.
especially long box trucks. I mean, they just can't. It's hard to swing them corners. Public awareness. Everybody that can possibly comment online is helpful.
Yep. And they got quite a few comments Wednesday night. I think there were quite a few people that put sticky notes on those proposed closures and said,
Any more comments on convention?
Yeah,
Or
go for it. We can.
It wasn't a session, but I was sitting with a commissioner from Osborne County. And we were talking about EMS. You know, everybody has struggles with staffing and this is a small county. It's only 3,500 people. But they transferred their EMS to what's called American Medical Response.
MR.
And sounded like they were about a year into it. Asked him how he felt about it. He says, best thing they've ever done. You know, I didn't ask him any specifics about, you know, was their budget, you know, capable of handling that? Because I'm guessing that they're still budgeting funds for American Medical Response. I don't know exactly how that works, but he said the city of Lindsborg had just gone to it too.
I thought AMR was for profit.
Yeah, I don't know how they do that for sure. If you transfer your budget and then dissolve the department, I don't know how that works for sure.
I know that as far as competitiveness for the person who needs the EMS, AMR is a lot more expensive. That's what
I didn't, I just thought I'd bring it up to the commission if if that whetted anybody's appetite to ever talk to them or whatever. Might give us a little bit better idea about things going forward. I just thought it was kind of interesting. I'm surprised that, they were trying to run a service up there to begin with, but they were. And he said that everybody that worked for him automatically hired on by AMR. So nobody lost their jobs, anything like that.
had AMR in a back pocket for a while. Keeping the faith that this is gonna work out.
Yeah, well, it's just, I think we need to always think about options too. I think a lot of people don't think we have any options, but there are. Whether we can afford them or not, that's another question. So, anyway, I just thought I'd bring it up. I thought it was kind of interesting just talking to him about that. We were talking about money. Scott Lloyd's.
I'm good, I don't have anything.
I think it would be good though to have going forward with KAC to at least have a couple of road and bridge personnel down there on the days that they actually have a session or more than one session. There was a lot of good information on that they had the other day under the road and bridge session, but it was geared to those. It wasn't geared to commissioners. It was all geared to road and everybody that was talking were road and bridge supervisors.
Well, we had people in the past go, nobody went this year.
When we were laying out so the beginning of this whole thing on the breakouts was gonna be tracks. And so if you were in road and bridge, you would take these breakouts. So you were just stuck in that lineup. It didn't go over quite so well because a lot of people like the flexibility of being able to jump from this one to that one because they're able to understand this or have a higher interest in certain things so that they can get more out of it. But that was the original intent, and that's why there was so many that were that way. And then the health items and then the housing items. And so.
You just need to do it each session twice so you could go to it on a different day even.
Taking all those comments. I took a few comments while I was down there and hopes.
Sometimes, a lot of times, you wanna go to this meeting, but they're both at the
I
same
was
time.
surprised how many, in the sessions I were in, how many road and bridge people were there.
Scope, we used to go all the time.
Yeah. So, anyway, yes, if you have any suggestions, please let me know. I will take notes and take them. So, if that's it, we're gonna move on to the commission discussion on goal setting. All right. You wanna take the lead on that?
I have one goal, you're talking about goals for 2026?
I didn't put this on the agenda, so.
I just, and it just happened that I picked some stuff up. I was talking with my guard, Rebecca Bilderbach from University of Kansas. They have their Kansas Local Technical Assistance Program. They've got all kinds of training, they've got equipment loan programs. The one thing that piqued my interest is they will actually come to our county and do a 2 to 3 day training session with our grader operators, our road and bridge, our section men, and not teach them how to run the road grader, but teach them how to maintain roads. I know that this program has been highly successful in other counties and actually teaching. And I hear it from my constituents that when the maintainer goes down the road, he messes it up more than he fixes it. But that's neither here nor there, but I think we need to look into this, and if we're gonna pay these guys to maintain the roads, we need to train them to maintain the roads. I think it would be a valuable investment. I think it would save us money in the long term if we can train them right. It may be something that, I mean, they'll come to us.
When was that, 3 or 4 years ago? We had a 1 week, Cat did it, came out and worked with the, was that prior to that?
No, we were,
That's not something that they were able to do every year, but I have asked Tina to check into it with them again. Because I'm not sure that they didn't, since we buy Cat equipment, they didn't do that for us without charge.
But I think that is mainly teaching them how to run Cat equipment and not,
Well, no, they built, what they did the year they was here, they rebuilt a road. They took a 1 mile section, maybe it was over there on 250th. And I think they took 2 or 3 operators per day and put them on that with the Cat guys. So they actually rebuilt that mile, maybe, yeah, it was at least a mile of 250 off of Kansas going west. And so I've asked Tina to check back with Cat to see if they continue to do that, because that'd be something, either that or that program on annually, just keep us in rotation.
yep, and even, if we have turnover, if we have, I mean, this is something that, an annual training, they do a lot of stuff.
Yeah. I think I'd definitely be in favor of some type of annual training at the least.
And, bringing them here, it's not like we're spending a lot of money sending guys off and losing them. I mean, they're actually learning on the ground here, so. I don't know if you picked that stuff up.
I don't know if I got that one.
That's, I think that's something that we should invest in, next year. Starting out, as soon as we can after the first of the year, and try to get some stuff lined up and at least find out. I didn't talk cost with her. I don't think, being to University of Kansas, I'm sure that, you're probably paying for their travel and their per diem and, maybe a little bit. It shouldn't be that expensive to get them down here.
That's something that we need to have in training and rotation every year.
Picked up some stuff on digitization too. It's really, really friendly, but I didn't discuss cost either, so there's a few things there was a lot of things there that I was more impressed with the vendors than I ever have been, as far as what they provided and what they were willing to do. I haven't sorted through all my stuff. I'm not as organized. I'm still trying to get the pens out of my bag.
I didn't have any specific goals like Clark, the 30,000 foot view of everything. We've got goals when it comes to facilities. Probably several things there that'll be goals over the next year. We've got a lot of policies that we probably need to look at that need to be updated. I'd still kind of like to have the departments in at least once a quarter. I know they're meeting weekly with Tina, but I think a quarterly update from every department is still, it was always helpful to me when they were coming in all the time. And, you know, like I said, I don't think maybe it has to be monthly, but maybe on a quarterly basis, hear what's going on.
Rotate those so that
Yeah, you know.
every,
Have one or two.
we don't have all of them one day, but
No, rotate them, you know, one or two come in,
Yeah.
and then the next month, whatever, one or two come in. You know, and, otherwise, if we don't have some kind of goals, we get to putting out too many fires.
Mhm.
I'd like to get away from putting out fires all the time. I mean, that's part of the job, but try to limit the fires.
if we can be a little more proactive and
I mean, there's issues within probably every department we've got, if we look close enough. You know, and sometimes we need to know about them before they become a issue. I think quarterly would be good. That's my thought.
Got any bullet points? I got one that's come up multiple times this year. Different avenues, different things. Even today, the code enforcement officer and dog multi-rap position that seems to be lacking.
Correctional person.
It's kind of just a multi-hats, but it'd have to be in a county our size. And, the one detail wouldn't keep them busy all the time. And
Somebody, you trash your dogs and
yeah,
different things.
and it would fall into the under the sheriff's, or because it would have to have authority in order for the
Write a ticket.
yeah. So all those things. So I would like to work with the sheriff on seeing if we could create that and what it would look like. Just because it has repeatedly come up.
Does code enforcers have to be under a law enforcement?
They still have to be, yes.
I'm thinking about building inspectors.
And even them usually carry a badge.
Yeah, because, you know, they have to have some kind of authority. Where else I guess you're gonna get it? Anywhere else. But
What Greg brought up as a concern of the underage drivers on either golf carts or side-by-sides is still very rampant out there. And irritates me for the speed that these young kids, no helmets, speed they're coming past some of the residences. And if we don't, we'll have something bad happen shortly if we don't curb that or try to curb that. Not saying we can stop it completely. It is, in my opinion, very rampant out there and a very big concern of how do we slow that down or enforce it?
supposed to be 16 and above to driving. I went out there to the 4th of July. They always have kind of a little parade that goes around there. Maybe you guys have been to it. I'm not sure there weren't some 8 and 9-year-olds driving those golf carts
Couldn't see what a shirt
with
around.
4 or 5 people in them.
Well, like I said, clear full of just the neighborhood kids and
So
it'd be a question not of if something happens in the future, but only when.
what kind of liability do we have? I guess we do.
We're allowing them to be on Lakeshore Drive.
It's a county road. And it's also an issue inside Lakeshore Drive.
Everything inside Lakeshore Drive.
Because those roads in there are uneven and some of them roads here and then there's a big bank. I had to stop a group of young ones because they got up on a golf cart on the side of one of those with people in it. I mean, it doesn't take much to tip over a golf cart. If they'd all stood up, they'd tipped over.
I'm not out there 24/7, but anytime, especially on the weekend when the kids are out of school or something, it is rampant out there.
So are there any more items as far as upcoming items or upcoming thoughts, things to work on in the future? I mean, we can bring this back up again.
Yeah, well, down department issues, we've got departments that have issues that are ongoing.
You know, getting to expand on that training is one particular training that I think that we need to address, but I would like to see each department propose a training plan for their department that comes to us. I mean, I don't know what kind of training these departments are giving their employees. You know, in my past experience, you know, we had employees, we had a training plan that we established for them to ensure their success. And so I would like to see each department basically put together a synopsis or a training plan for their employees that we can look at. And I'm not saying we train them, you know, overtrain them, but at least make sure that we're getting them the basic training that they need to do their jobs effectively for the county.
Some of that has been handled in the past through the employee evaluations where the department supervisor will put goals on there of them taking some type of right.
And that's,
I mean, but it's, what you're saying is not a bad idea.
let's be proactive instead of waiting until the end of the year when, well, you need to take this training so you can let's give you this training now so that at the end of the year we can say you accomplished your job instead of saying, well, you need to take some more training so you can do your job. I guess I'm just saying let's be a little bit more proactive and do that up front. And
On a bullet point, I put training. I left it all encompassing.
Okay.
With Ashley sitting here and your people under your command or in your sector, there is certain certifications yearly, I believe, to a lot of these positions. Am I correct or not correct?
Yeah, are you just talking about my office?
Yeah, that you would.
Yeah, well, we have KCCOA, which most departments do have conferences to go to that hold a lot of training. With our election system that we use, we do have training for that. The state gave training. So yeah, we do get, and it depends on when that training is available of when people can
Do you
go.
think this is adequate for most of your staff, or do we need to look further in your department? Just because you're here, not that I want to pick on you.
I mean, we have quite a few, and we go to like the Scott Lloyd training. I mean, we have quite a bit of training available, so.
And you see it fairly successful at this point. You've been in this position a couple of years at least.
I don't see anything wrong with getting some training.
Right.
I mean, yeah, I balk about it, but I got 12 CEUs every year, and my apprentices have 6, and we have our own training. We have a new hire, and so, I mean, you can't expect them just to.
It's part of doing business.
Yeah.
No different in the county. It's part of doing business.
So that takes us to our next item, in progress. What do we have in progress?
EMS building and
I mean, it's not really in progress, it's on the, it is in progress,
Yeah.
but it's not,
Another thing we need to look at is finishing the cleaning and tuck pointing at the top of the courthouse. That's been on the list now for 6 years, probably. And that's maintenance that really needs to get done. It's not cheap. Bottom part was done, but the top never was.
Now, we had conversations about the elevator upgrade at some point.
Yeah.
I noticed we still did get a maintenance contract on it though, I think, on the elevator.
Yep.
But one of these days when they say they won't maintain it anymore, you better be prepared.
You have your road and bridge building.
Yeah.
It's still on radar.
I know back a year ago, Peabody Fire, we're talking about building a new building, and we're looking at the potential of co-locating our EMS right there in Peabody. The grant that they received last week that they were able to accept, so we don't have to pass that through. I guess you guys all saw that email. That was to purchase that additional property right there, right off the highway in Peabody, and they're still interested in potentially building a building that would house both fire and EMS. So they've been saving money quite a while for that, and I think they would. There may be some cost savings. You had concerns about having EMS there north. This would put it right off the highway.
I just don't think that's the ideal place to put it, and I think there's room there on the edge of Peabody somewhere.
There's an option to co-locate with the fire department, which would make sense because most of Colton has been very proactive in trying to get a lot of his employees, his firefighters trained as EMTs. And there would be the option then of, if you've got one paramedic available with the EMS, and they could get an EMT from the fire department to at least drive the ambulance, hey, you're fully covered in responding. But I'm just throwing that out there as that option there. Colton is still interested in pursuing that option if that's an option we want to look at.
I've had conversations with Frank Ausler, one because they were cleaning that spot up just east of their properties. And he's thought he would campaign with maybe the fire department and some other locals to give us a better option for a place to put our EMS building in the areas.
The property they bought, I think, is right behind the old Central Propane building there
Yeah,
that they own now.
that the fire department.
The fire department,
This
yeah.
4th district, I think is
Yeah.
what it is.
So,
And I think, like I said, they did receive a grant. Money that's been in that area. I think the cemetery got one for a bridge or something.
On the north side of the street then,
yeah,
new property.
yeah, between that main street going into Peabody and Highway 50 there. This.
Question is whether or not they could acquire the few acres north of, I guess, east of that whole propane.
They've bought it.
They've got it, that.
That's what that grant is for, is to buy
Okay.
that property. So they've got that additional property.
You're late. Gotta leave.
Well, maybe I do.
Push the other side. Yeah.
Got a new case, it's too big. Can't get my fingers in there.
Yeah. I think Steve's come up with road rebuilds for next year. All those ongoing things. I think that's just maintenance, but there's, when you let the roads go for so long a certain way, then it is a project to get them back.
Yeah, but, you know, we talk about using the hard rock and I'm all for it. But I'm not for putting any of that down until those roads are crowned. You're wasting rock until you get every secondary road, gravel road. If it doesn't have a crown on it, we shouldn't be spending that kind of money on it till we get it right. And some of that goes back to training.
Exactly. I mean, if we can train these guys how to do it and they can get a crown put back on that road without a complete rebuild. Some of them, you can probably do that without a complete rebuild.
Right. I'm sure there are. Then put that hard rock on them.
I think, you know, in the past, I think there was a 5-year plan established for road maintenance, and we I haven't seen anything about it. I think we've kind of gotten away from that. I think we need to perhaps look into developing more of a long-term plan rather than
Something, I don't know, I've floated around in my head a few times and kicked it around. I don't know if it's the greatest idea or not.
I think your road plan's always based on having the kind of weather that you can get it done. I think if you have a road plan, it should be based on every year's a wet year.
Well,
What can be done?
it's always a goal.
Yeah.
You can, it doesn't mean you have to hit that every year, you shoot for it. But going back to as far as road PM, we have all the townships, right? We have all the trustees. If all those trustees were on a road board, that would bring recommendations to us. I've thought of that could be an idea.
I've kicked that around with several people in my district and not necessarily the trustees, but a group of maybe 2 to 3 landowners in each township that.
But then that also allows them to see the other side of the county too and
Right.
understand the whole dynamic and then.
The whole dynamics of it, but a lot of these guys, they say, you know, we really don't care about this road. You know, if we can let them provide their input to say, these are our focus. These are the roads that we feel are important. Give them a voice and let them hear from everybody else in the county as well, and then develop a plan off that. And then there's buy-in from the public that, you know, we were part of this. This is what we agreed to. And
Take some of the heat off to one person deciding what roads get rebuilt.
right, exactly.
I think you'd have to be very selective on who you put on that board. Cause that's the type of board that could have 29 different agendas. So I mean, it'd about have to
Yeah.
there'd have to be some type of screening process. You couldn't just go, hey, will you serve on that board? Yeah, I'd love to.
That's the reason why I was kind of tying it to the trustees, so we're not, so somebody run for that office, you know?
Let them do something with their title, huh?
We have some townships that don't have any trustees.
Right. And if you actually said, well, you get a spot on this board, does that change it? Do those people run for that office in order to be on that board?
And that's fine. I mean, those trustees can
Or they can appoint somebody else.
they can solicit input from the township and get that input to provide to that board. But I think it's critical that we have the townships who drive those roads every day have some input into what's important and what's not. Well, not what's not, but what's less important.
Mike's over there shaking his head.
Well, I think in the 10 years ago column in last week's paper was the 10-year anniversary of our 300 people attending the Lake Hall session one evening. And a lot of good points were brought up.
Nothing was done.
I'm not saying nothing, but in about 2 more weeks, it'll be 36 years since my last day with a county motor grader blading the roads in my immediate back door. And to drive through some of them roads this past year to see not only poor maintenance, but maybe no maintenance for a year, and maybe even into part of last year, irritates me, but how to fix that, I don't know. When we talk about training, even some of the people in my area that took them jobs after I was there, I would see them maybe working a spot in the ditch, up on the road, stop and say, well, if you would do this, that would help. And it went in one ear and out the other. And that's what I'm afraid some of the training has been in the past. They want to do it their way. They don't want to listen, change their ways. What is the right answer to all this? I can't just. The worst part about a motor grader is there's not a buddy seat, or it would be easier to.
It would, yeah.
Very easy to show them something different.
Gotta have leadership in the department,
Well,
somebody in charge of that, and they can do it over again.
We got
That cat training that we were talking about, all that was done at the South Shop where they leveled out a spot, set a certain grade. I know one morning that operator just 2 hours into that said, hey, you're not listening to me? Flatten it out. Just go, everything you've done for the last 2 hours, just shove it back flat. We're starting over. So why is that? You're trying to help them get a different concept. Are they gonna listen? Are they gonna change their ways? That's the question that's hard to answer. To make it worth our time to do this.
Well, I agree completely, but that's where it comes back to having a supervisor that's gonna hold them accountable.
It comes back to leadership.
You know, it's all about leadership. We're gonna train you to do it, this is what we expect, and hold them accountable when they don't. And
I thought it was interesting, when they had that session, road and bridge session, and a lot of it was on maintenance, cause Foley did and it's amazing, I don't know what county it was, the checklist that all of their operators have to go through every morning before they even start. And he claims it's saved them hundreds of thousands of dollars in maintenance over the years. By them taking that 15 or 20 minutes every morning and going through that checklist.
Just walk the machine, huh?
Because, those machines have a lot of things that can break them.
Even my first summer on some rebuilds, we started in the ditch one day morning. By 10 o'clock, I was told, get out of the ditch or go home. I wasn't doing it right. Whether or not I did anything right or wrong, some of our past superintendents have talked about whether I'm capable of blading the road, and I've passed every time from all of them.
I got roads.
Always.
Let's is there any other standing items for completion? I would we were in progress and outstanding items for completion, kind of rolled it all into one, so I just kind of let it be, but I keep getting asked about the 3/4 mile through Canada. Don't know that it's public knowledge quite like it should be, but moving forward with that geogrid, it's gonna be a swamp built road basically through there. I can't tell you how many people I've talked to that, yes, we are moving forward with that.
I'm asked about it constantly, where we're at with that. I guess my reply is we've requested funding and haven't received any funding on multiple
I
projects.
think we were going that one alone.
Well, I guess that's where it ended up. But initially I said we applied for funding and I don't think we received it.
Yeah, because there's some other stretches of road that we try to spread that money.
But I agree, that stretch of road, even though it should have, whatever was proposed the first time failed miserably, and here we are.
Wild, because the whole way south of there, I mean, it's perfect, but it's not the same. Because the water just stands up there.
It's up in my end of the county, it's 290th. Why aren't we moving forward? You know,
Got the same thing at Alney.
we haven't obtained any additional funding now since then, although we did turn down some federal funding, if you remember right, because of the requirements on it and additional land and those kind of things.
The easements and the buyouts. And it was quite a bit there.
This bridge, basically what we call the Yurok Bridge there. It's been a safety hazard, and I think it's been brought up. But even if we would continue that project towards Durham, I think we need the bridge in first, regardless what they're doing elsewise. How do we accomplish that? Is the big key, or get it approved, or what that's gonna require to make that a safer spot in the road, because you do not wanna meet anybody with any, if you're more than 7.5 foot wide, you don't wanna meet anybody there. It's a wonder we haven't had more issues. The last issues was just a combine trying to get through there and somebody rear-ended, couldn't get stopped when they were basically
All
stopped.
we've ever considered is a new concrete span in there, but is there any other options? That creek,
Well, just the way that comes to it is the problem.
He sent it off. Yeah, there is a really viable option.
if we could get that option, we can use, I know a lot of water goes through there, but it's not the Cottonwood River.
I should have got 2 copies of that stuff. I gave it all to Road and Bridge, but that prefab company, it's all galvanized steel, structural steel. They build them, they can, I don't know the engineering terms, but basically it sounded like they can design these things up to 24-ton rated bridges.
4 lanes wide.
4 lanes wide. You build concrete abutments and you set these prefab panels in place, bolt them together and overlay them, and you're done. They say you can put one of these things up in a couple weeks. I don't know what the cost are, but
When you talk about bridges, everything costs.
everything costs. But I mean, it would obviously be a whole lot cheaper than putting in a concrete bridge.
I think it was Jesse Ham while he was in charge, a company out of Nebraska that did the designing and built them, which lowered the engineering considerably. And I don't know, I think it was mentioned to check into that and whether we ever got anywhere. It could have been, 7, 8 years ago already that was brought up. Over what's his name that built, what's the guy at Hillsborough that put all them others in? I mean, there's 3 of them just a couple miles from my place.
Yeah.
Were put in while I was leaving in my area when I was working for the county. So the only blade patching I did was putting the or the asphalt on top of them bridge decks. Mike Tim did. Like I said, getting back to training, people I've worked with, 2 of them have been for the counties and they came back from World War II. So they've been there 40 years. Some of the people that taught me what to do. Bill Phelan was the other one, which his first deal was his time in the service was sent in the motor grader and worked for the county for 30 years.
So basically, I'm just gonna cut this short, cause it's kinda,
Circle.
we put down a few ideas, but we got this just bullet point, if everybody wants to, oh, I should have said that, or I should have said that, I mean, we can bring it back up.
We just need training and leadership. Have all the employees do their jobs with pride. If you can't be proud of it, don't do it. I think most of them have pride in their jobs now. There's always one bad one that pops up.
So, I don't know if anybody else has anything that they really, really wanna say on this topic. I don't wanna cut them off, but,
The only thing I have for year end is for you, Ashley, I mean, are there things that we as a commission need to be aware of? Or what your office, what the treasurer's office, what the appraiser's office, what their requirements are for closing out the year? That, is there anything that we need to be aware of that?
No, I mean, encumbrances are gonna be coming up. So I think, everybody has to have those in by the 23rd. And then we'll bring them to you the following week for you guys to approve them. Other than the normal activities of payday, bills, then we'll have the year-end closing of everything.
That's what I mean,
And
everything's on track, you don't,
Yep.
there's nothing we need to be aware of.
no, not that I know of right now.
Changed or, okay.
Yeah.
I'm just new here, so I'm trying to make sure that I know what's going
Yep.
on.
If I think of something, I'll let you know.
Well, we can talk tomorrow when I
Okay.
can.
That's why the department reports are pretty important.
Exactly.
You know, we can ask that question.
alright. Any other commission comments?
We had a employee of EMS in last week that addressed us. I think it would be wise to let him come talk to us. But I'll just bring that up. Commission can shoot me down if they want to.
Mickey was gonna handle it, wasn't he?
Well, if there's a situation where they can't talk to their supervisor, they need to go to the administrator first before they step up on here and make it a public deal. And that's no fault to anybody. I understand that they want to, you know, have their message heard, but I think a lot of that stuff could be handled internally before it escalates.
We've been hearing about it all year.
And if we have to, it needs to be done under an executive session,
Right,
so that
right.
way nobody's,
Yeah, no, that's personnel performance.
yeah.
No, they would definitely be brought in an executive session.
So. It didn't reach that threshold the other day, I'm grateful, but it was close.
But I just thought I'd bring it up to the commission, see if there was consensus to do it or not.
I don't think we need to sweep it under the rug, but I think we need to let Tina and Mickey handle that. And if it doesn't get resolved, then we need to we need to hear it. But we need to give them the opportunity to,
That's fine,
but I agree with you, can't, I'm just,
when somebody comes in and said, I would like to have time on an agenda, yeah, we need to consider it.
Yep.
But, you know, under certain circumstances, maybe it's wise, maybe it's not. Let it go the direction it needs to go, but at some point in time, we might need to say,
Yeah.
address.
Can't let it fester.
Any others?
just briefly, I was involved with an incident last night. Actually, a mile and a half from my house. The property that's, I think it's an old junkyard that is one of those on the list for being a nuisance property.
20th, right?
On 120th in Kansas.
20th in Kansas.
I got a call from the landowner while I was sitting in a tree. And we got individuals had pulled in, drug some debris behind their vehicle to make it look like there was no way to get in there. We sat there until the sheriff and actually Hillsborough PD got there, but apparently this has been an ongoing, every weekend there's people in and out of there. And it's an issue that got some of the neighbors up there concerned because they don't know what's going on, but people in and out, very quickly, they don't know what's going on. I think the sheriff has talked about doing some stuff out there, but just to be aware that these people were actually from Wichita. They're not local people, so what they were actually doing, we may never know, but
Somebody else, huh?
They did do some cleanup out there, that was state money.
They started to, I think a lot of the stuff that had any value, kind of got some split, the spouse got some money and then whoever was doing the cleanup got some of the money. But once the valuables run out, it becomes you pay to clean it up, and I don't think anybody's taken it to that step.
there's a huge pile of concrete out there.
I know.
If the county could rent a crusher
Just crush it up.
and confiscate that material and crush it up, we would have crushed concrete for a
Stream
lot
bank,
cheaper than $135 a ton.
stream bank, stabilization. Lay it out.
Was that ever classified as a hazardous waste zone?
I don't know. Do it on creeks all the time, but I don't know how legal it is, so. I've just seen it. I never did it myself.
You junk cars.
But that's where that code enforcement, that's an issue that's been on the county's radar. Now it's almost, to me, it's becoming a public safety issue.
Along with the place over at Canada, and,
Yeah.
Out of the three,
Is there
We had
debris, is there
one-
debris still all the way out to the road?
Oh, yeah.
It was almost encroachment.
Well, there's still debris in the right of ways.
yeah, you can't build a ditch.
No.
You couldn't build a ditch if you wanted to.
That seems to be an issue.
So out of the three properties we got all at once, even though they've been pre-existing, we had one with some coaxing that straightened up. code enforcement. So,
I guess one last thing, if we're looking how far into the future, is there any need to explore buying the old quarry from Heth's and making our own landfill?
I'm opposed to the idea.
I
I'm not
mean-
opposed to
I
the
mean,
idea,
you
but
got
it's been
somebody-
voted down once before, but
I think when it got voted down, you know, that was annexed into the city, and it was city officials that got that stopped at that time.
if we could
Or
show,
at least do a C&D out there.
if we could show a long-term gain for the taxpayer, I'm sure.
I mean, but who do we even ask the first questions?
That was Martin Marietta that wanted to put in the landfill, if I remember right. And,
With Waste Connection out of Wichita, will be one too.
or
Waste-
one of those.
Waste Connection, I
Okay.
think.
Anyway, they did develop a landfill in, what's the county that's, down there around Anthony, Caldwell? Is that Kiowa County?
Yeah.
I believe it was Kiowa County
They went south.
that they actually did put one in. That's a small, I mean, less population than Marion County, I believe.
The person that has asked me more than once is Travis Parmalee, which now works.
But, one of the commissioners,
And then thought at least a C&D would probably, now who you get to try to do it, finance it. I guess we'd have to own the land to start with. So,
I had a conversation with one of their commissioners, that's been 2-3 years ago, asking them how that was working out for them. And they said that it actually saved their county, because their county was in dire straits when that landfill was approved.
Brought in money, huh?
And it brought in enough to fund a chunk of their budget. And I said, well, what does it look like? And he said, they've maintained it very, very well. Some of the, they go a while and then they cover it, put it all back to native vegetation and start the next area. And they said they've done all of that. So,
I haven't witnessed McPherson's counties too much, but they bale theirs. So it goes in there in like cubes and then they cover it. I mean, it's not loose trash when it gets moved out there. I've seen where they've baled it or handled it there at their plant, but not at the actual site there north of town.
they bail it over there to transfer, or at the transfer station.
Morris County does their own recycling with a small baler that they take all their cardboard, plastic, and bail it and send it on. But then we're talking about a lot smaller county and a facility and the resources to make that happen for the best interest in what they're doing.
Theirs is one of the NBA's long-running bitter rivals.
If we can make it pan out on paper, it makes financial sense. I'm all about bringing that topic back to life.
I'd like somewhere in the next year, get some type of numbers or something, some way somehow.
Make it a package.
See if that's feasible.
Transfer station and that.
Okay.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second. All those in favor?
Quick question. Who's Greg White?
Why is